the Bible. Is it hard to understand?
When it comes to reading the Bible, the first thing that comes to mind is the fact that this is the Word of God.
The seals have been broken, and the truth is here.
And when we go throughout the scriptures, when we go throughout extra biblical records, we find that the language that God employed, that He used to create the heavens and the earth, was the Hebrew language.
Christ said, I came for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. But yet no one, no religious leader, no religious church out there anywhere can now identify the 12 tribes of Israel. Can we? God is quite simple, but it seems as if man makes understanding Him hard.
What are those mysteries?
The truth of your book and the truth will make you free. The Hebrew and Bible Academy. You're invited. Shalom, brothers and sisters. Shalom, shalom. I'm Elder Ricochet of the Gathering of Christ Church, here with your weekly Patreon update. Shalom to my brothers and sisters throughout the four corners of the earth. First and foremost, I would like to say thank the Most High, Ahaya, in the name of Yeshua, for the opportunity to come before you all. How you all doing there? Blessings, blessings. I thank the Most High for an opportunity to come here before you all while Babylon is ticking down. And of course, we'll be here, if it be the Most High's will, through the complete fall that leads to Zion. The fall of Babylon leads to Zion. Yes, we are the children of Israel, and we're back in the name of Christ. And boy, do we have a Patreon for you all today. Yes, we have a Patreon for you brothers and sisters, and not only are we going to allow the topic to get discussed from my standpoint, what the Most High put on my heart to bring forth. If you have any questions or anything, here's your opportunity to interact with the elders when it comes to Q&As, questions, answers, comments, whatever you would like to do in your interaction. We'll invite that conversation tonight. Okay, so of course, Blog Talk no longer exists. We will be coming in with a new platform next week called Speaker. We're going to have Speaker, which is a platform for broadcasting that will allow you all to call in to replace our old relationship, our old long-tenured relationship we once had with Blog Talk. We will have a new call-in platform next week, okay? Let me tell you all that. Okay? Also, I would be amiss if I didn't mention, excuse me. I'm getting everything all together here. 1 second here. I would be amiss if I didn't mention the fact that we do have a new Hebrew and Bible Academy, which begins February 16th. Okay, not this Sunday, but next Sunday. A new Hebrew and Bible Academy will begin. 9 a.m. We should be out by 2 p.m. We're going to keep everything structured so to not hold you too long. We're going to really try to keep on schedule so that there can be opportunity for Q&As after each academy class. Elder Lawyer comes in with Hebrew 101. Elder Shapat jumps in with news articles, with real-time news based on what happened that week or what will happen prophetically. And of course, I give my commentary during the news that Shapat presents. Also, you have what? Lessons sent to your email. PDFs, full complete doctrinal lessons put together by the elders of the church that will give you the true doctrine according to the Bible. The first week, of course, we're going into the creation of the universe, how all things were made. Okay, a lot of these constructs that they claim were a billion years ago is a bold-faced lie. Okay, these are pre-flood constructs that were built by the Allahayim, the gods who fell to this earth. And I will explain that in the subsequent week, from the creation. Week 2. Week 2 of the Academy, the origin of angels. I touch on the creation before earth first week. Second week, we go into the powers that created all we see under Christ and their true functions, the hierarchy from the high all the way down to the low. Every rank of angels we'll discuss, and we'll touch in on the 24 elders, week 2. The 24 elders that are spoken of in the book of Revelation, we're going to see if we can tackle that to show you their place in the heavenly realm. Okay? Also, the true doctrine to the Gentiles. A lot of Israelites out there are incorrect, claiming that Gentiles cannot be saved. They're liars. Okay? Anyone who say that is a liar. Whether they believe it or not, it's a lie. And we're here to condemn that doctrine. That's number one. Number two, because how can you say that people are going to serve in the kingdom unless they're saved? Okay? So I think they're getting things confused. I think they're so hell-bent on attacking other nations outside of Israel, they're willing to compromise the doctrine of Christ. In order for the Gentiles to make it into Christ's kingdom, to serve in the kingdom, there's something they must do to be saved. Okay? So don't conflate things. In order for them to make it to that side of this whole paradigm, this whole prophetic scenario we're under, they must repent and receive Christ to be saved. So I think they're getting it confused. They believe that being saved means that everyone is equal in the kingdom of heaven under Christ. Two entirely different dynamics. So they don't know what they're talking about. Christians don't know what they're talking about when they think there will be equality for all nations under Christ's kingdom. Okay? There will be equity. That's right. There will be, you will get the reward for what you've done on this side, be it Jew or Gentile. But all things aren't relative, and all people in the kingdom of heaven isn't equal. So I'm going to go into that. I'm going to be going into the doctrine to the Gentiles. What was that all about? Okay. Why did Christ go to Paul, meet Paul at the road of Damascus to give him a separate mission outside of the circumcision that would lead to Gentiles receiving the gospel of Christ? I'm going to talk about that. Okay? We do not leave people out based on past history and what we believe their forefathers did to us. Judgment belongs to Christ. We're teachers. Okay, we're teachers. All right? So we're going to dive into the true doctrine of the Gentiles. And we're going to also go into 1 week the lost books, which is what? Some of the non-canonical books that aren't allowed to be read in Christian churches. You got lying Jesuits who are Satanists who would have you believe that you're not supposed to read the Apocrypha. Don't listen to the apologetics because they're liars and purposeful deceivers. They're not the authority on what we should read. A matter of fact, the apologetics, they deal more so through Greek philosophy. They're Edomites. So they try to philosophize through process of eliminations to try to claim, well, this is why we have the authority to tell the population what to read. Folks, these people aren't Israelites. They aren't Christ. They aren't a part of Christ's mission, and they do not have the true doctrine. So don't let them tell you, well, no, you shouldn't go into the Apocrypha based on their misunderstanding of it. Just because you don't understand it doesn't mean these books aren't valid. Learn again. That's all. Learn again. They try to tell you the Apocrypha is incorrect. And we're going to prove the Apocrypha is correct. We should read the Apocrypha. There's other records we're going to go into. We're going to go into the book of Enoch. We're going to show you the book of Jasher that's written of in scriptures. Just because preachers aren't taught this in their theologian schools doesn't mean these books are incorrect. And usually they tell you to stay out of them. Why? Because something in these books conflict with their ideology and or their satanic indoctrination. We're going to also go into the Apocalypse of Paul. We're really going to focus on, in this academy, two particular books while going into the lost books. One will be the Testament of Solomon, and the second will be the Apocalypse of Paul. We're going to go into it in this academy, and I hope you all can join and be a part of this, dive into this biblical experience, and have fun while doing so. Okay? It'll be the best time you've ever had learning the word of the Most High. All right? And yes, the new 12 tribes of Israel calendar have just been complete. Now, of course, there's a few things we need to do to touch it up. But all in all, it's complete. The Hebrew and Bible Academy, well, the calendar, our annual church calendar, showing you the true holy days, 364-day calendar. Well, here it is. And beautiful. I mean, look at the detail in it. The first month, the Lion of Judah. Right? All right. And to help you all out, because there are satanic haters out there who wouldn't have known about this unless they learned it through our church, seeking to confuse people who are fairly new, who learn under the church. What we have done is we've added a feature on this calendar. So when you go into the dates, when it's a holy day, it'll say sundown. It'll say sundown here. So you'll know, like for instance, we know the Passover is Friday sundown. The Feast of Unleavened Bread begins sundown. And we have the feast on Saturday. So it will be easily explained out on the calendar. This is incomplete right now. I'm just showing you. Look at this. Look how beautiful this is. Right? So on and on and on. We're making the calendar clear. It'll say sundown for that day. Friday sundown is when the Passover and the Feast of Unleavened Bread officially begins. So you will see sundown there. And on Saturday, we'll have what? We'll show Passover feast for Saturday. And we're going to make it clear because why? Even though it's explained on the first page of our calendar, it's explained right here. All Sabbaths are from Friday sundown unto Saturday sundown. All feasts, holy days, are from sundown unto sundown. Even though this is clearly explained on the first page of the calendar, okay, you have Satan's daughter, the Jezebel, out there each year who would look at our calendar and go into the months and show certain days without giving them this explanation. And she will lie to the people and say that the calendar is one day off, only to confuse people into her madness. Okay? Even though it's explained here, and she know it's explained there. But her point of hustling is to confuse people and bring doubt so that she can bring them under her satanic evil view of the work. So now it's going to be clear, because each month will show when the Sabbath comes in, it'll say sundown. Every holy day in the box, it will say sundown, so that Satanists like that particular Jezebel don't deceive people. All right. Now, all right. So here it is. The 12 tribes of Israel calendar, and guess what, folks? It have been examined. The Most High gave us the full understanding on this calendar. Years ago, there wasn't no one out there talking about the 364-day calendar that was there pre-flood until the Most High put that on the Gathering of Christ Church to bring it forth, to bring everything back on time. Okay, so again, if you would like to order this calendar, and you can still use it as a regular calendar also, but of course, the Most High's time for a new year starts in the spring. Well, this particular calendar clearly gives you the insight of when the new year starts, but you can still use it as a regular calendar for your planning and all that. You still have the boxes there to be able to use it for a regular calendar with no problem at all. Okay? It still show you the days of week according to our calendar. I mean, the regular calendar we see, but it gives you the holy days within that particular framework. Okay? And also, it counts how many days in the month when it comes to the Hebrew month. One, it's shaded in gold to show you the days of each day up until what? It's complete, according to the Bible. So you have what? Your regular days you would actually schedule with in blue, and you would have your calculation days according to 364 in gold. Very, very detailed and explained. Okay? Look at our people. What a blessing. So if you would like to order the calendar, simply go to gatheringofchrist.org. You go to gatheringofchrist.org, right? And the only thing you would have to do, you'll see this Hebrew calendar here. Boom. Click on Hebrew calendar, and you're able to pre-order this immediately. Do your pre-orders. We already have we have everything working so that the inventory will come in, and we'll ship it right out to you before the beginning of March. Okay? Go to gatheringofchrist.org right there. Gatheringofchrist.org, hit Hebrew calendar, put in your pre-orders, and we'll send them out. We'll send them right out to you in the order we've received the pre-orders, okay? Okay, great. I want y'all to know that. And yes, we're going into All Praises Be to the Most High this week. Tuesday sundown will be Purim. Purim isn't an official Sabbath. It's more so a memorial that the Most High gave us to remember when our forefathers, our people, were saved in Persia. In Persia. So This is the time of year, if you would like to give gifts to others, that's when we do it. We do it during the time of Purim. So if you're a person who's saying, you know what, we're used to the traditions of Christmas and giving gifts and all that, don't do it on those days. Choose Purim as the time to give a gift to someone you care about. At least it has some historical value attached to our forefathers. Okay? So Tuesday sundown, we're going to have a small feast. We'll bring people together for Purim. All right? For Purim. And again, go to historytimes.org to enroll for those who would like to be a part of our Hebrew and Bible Academy. There's nothing like it in the earth. Now, jumping right into what we'll be talking about. What we'll be talking about on Patreon. Babylon, America labors in vain. Okay. Labors in vain. Now, why did I title this as such? Labors in vain. Well, the Bible tell you about the labors, how the children of Israel would be meant to serve all nations until Christ returns. Now, what's unfortunate for the elite powers, or they deem unfortunate for them, is that if there's none of our people to serve them, their whole power structure crumbles. So Satan built a system off of the curse, knowing that our God would put us under nations for a specific number of years. So now that our people have begun the awakening, now that we know that we're the children of Israel and we weren't meant to serve anyone, then how can the world economy continue to thrive? It's an impossibility. So they had to set up a new construct, knowing that one day the Most High would begin to awaken the lost tribes of Israel, who are who? We were originally the labor force for the Gentile world. See? So now they had to transition like they did. They're transitioning now like they did during the time we came out of slavery. See? The Confederacy was wondering, well, hold up. If we free the slaves, what are we going to do about who's going to pick our fruit? Who's going to do the construction work? Who's going to labor if we free the slaves? And it led to a war. The same thing we're hearing about the so-called immigrants in America today is the same conversation that was being had once they began to free the children of Israel. Y'all notice that? So they've been transitioning the labor force way back when, knowing that if our people don't work, the world economy ceases to exist. Now, where am I going in our conversation today? Well, I'm going there, and you all can come with us on Patreon. It's because they're doing another transition, and that transition happened predominantly during the time of what they call the plandemic, or what the plandemic. Was it more about a sickness than it was a reset of the labor market for the world? Changing the landscape for how all the jobs they've come accustomed for us to do being handled differently to sustain a world that was built off of slavery. And I'm going to go into exactly how they've done this and what all of this means for us. Listen to me clearly. We have been infiltrated. We have been deceived. We have been lied to. And I'm not just talking about the children of Israel. All the people who've, I would say, thrived off of this privilege being called American was lied to. Okay? Listen to me clearly. Let me speak to both sides of things. White people who were brought over here, who were poor in their countries, automatically were given a higher class than the people who built the country, the children of Judah. And it doesn't matter what your statuses were in Europe. When you got off the boats, even if you came from a place that was infested, poor, you automatically gained status over us. And that was the bribery America gave you to stand on the side against God's people. They bribed you into believing that you were privileged when they had a plan to get rid of you also in the end of this. Black people, Judah, listen to me. We were the labor force that built America. It was the spirit that the Most High gave us through Judah using the bow, which became the gun, that the government used, using the black man in every war to colonize and take down every country that would oppose America. And they promised us a piece of the spoils. We were deceived. The 10 tribes, the North American Indian tribes who were here, who were colonized and destroyed by Esau, who came over in the 14 and 1500s. When your brother Judah came here, and guess what? They knew that we were the same people. The Indian tribes before Esau came here knew that they were from the lost tribes. A lot of them looked no different than us when we came here. When we came here and we seen the Cherokee and the different Indians, folks, they were black. They looked just like Judah. And you let Esau come into the wedge and give you a few bribes, say, listen, we'll give you special status. We'll give you a few casinos and we'll give you privilege on the land tax and all that if you're willing to stay divided from your own family who are from the tribe of Judah. You were deceived because Esau only needed us to stand pat long enough to replace the whole labor force of the world. Listen to me. We were too strong of a people, and I'm speaking of the tribe of Judah. Not only were we too strong physically, we posed a threat to the powers that be based on what? Our intellectual prowess. Our power to adapt under any or most circumstances. But above our physical prowess and our intelligence. It was the Spirit of the Almighty through Christ that gave us the moral high ground above all people in this country. Okay? Not like the other people that were here. The Catholics who came over who were idolaters. The North American Indians and tribes like that who were dealing with idols and sacrificing to different gods. You can say what you want about the tribe of Judah. We have always loved ourselves some Christ. We brought the Negro spirituals over. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. We were able to articulate all of our struggle into something beautiful. Songs that inspired every movement up until this time that led to change. They could not break the spirit of Judah. Neither will they ever, I'm going to tell you, they will never be able to break that spirit. So what they did was they brought in their idolaters, the Asians, the scamming East Indians. And they came into our neighborhoods, used as buffers, and began to misdiagnose our people in the community. We're trusting people. And the last thing that we thought were doctors and nurses and teachers and those in high positions of authority would lie in our faces and get us hooked to stuff that would eventually lead to what? A higher mortality, a lesser quality of life. We believe the doctors who came into our communities and began to take the drugs and all that they prescribed to us. And next thing you know, they claimed that we had all these other issues and we began to bury our own. Listening to the idolaters. All the way up into the reset to where they shut the whole earth down. So to put a new labor force in place, knowing that God's people woke up all at once and that we were coming together to 12 tribes, they shut down this whole earth. To restructure the labor market. And they told all of the nations, you come in and take anything you want. So that we can reestablish a new economic foundation from the outside of Babylon. And that's currently where we are right now. Where are we? Trump got in place. And now we are in Jeremiah. Currently, we are in Jeremiah, the 50th chapter. Jeremiah 50 reads in 16, cut off the sower from Babylon, and him that handleth the sickle in the time of harvest. For fear of the oppressing sword, they shall turn every one to his own people. So they gave America 4 years where the nations would come in and reset the whole labor market and told other people to come in and take everything away they can while there's opportunity so that they can go back to their countries knowing that after they steal and take and pillage, there will be nothing left for those who built the country. And now that they have stolen everything, the Bible tell you, and they shall flee everyone to his own land. The East Indians, Asians, and all these other people coming over, folks, they coming over with the mindset to pillage America. And they're doing this not because they're down with America. They're doing this to spite America for all it has done up until this point to their people. So here's an opportunity for payback. So they're here to pillage it. And guess what? They're being told they can do whatever they want to do against the tribe of Judah in the wake of it. So where does that lead us? Because all these other nations, they have somewhere to flee back to. They're pillaging, destroying the economy, totally putting pressure on the treasury intentionally to raise the deficit so that everything would be high for those who built the country. This is social warfare against the people who built the country, the tribe of Judah. So I don't care if you're black. I don't care if you're white. I don't care what race you are. You better understand what's going on here and know that the idolaters are coming against you in a spiritual war. And find the God of the Hebrews. And it's only him through Christ who can lead us through this. And I'm totally confident. I'm 100% confident in this, that God is on our side. That Christ has always been with us. And those who attack and come against us will find themselves fighting against our God. You better be on the right side of this judgment as Babylon falls. They have pulled the rug out from everyone. They lied to us during that 4-year garbage 4 years ago so that they can set the market so there's a social warfare against those in America. Why? Because they know America has guns. And they cannot oppose Americans like they did the other countries. So they did it from the inside. They came in and poisoned us. They came in our communities and became doctors and nurses and purposely misdiagnosed us. They infiltrated our schools and dumbed down our children while we sat back and said and did nothing. And that's why the Bible says when you labor in vain. Because we as a people once worked for something. We worked for something. Our hard labor meant something. That meant we would have something so our children could have a better life than us. At one time we thought you work ourselves to the bone, and it doesn't matter if I have a shorter length of life, as long as my children had an opportunity to have a better and longer and better quality of life than me. That's what we used to labor for. Now what do we work for? We work in vain. We work for vanity. We work for temporal recognition. And because our works are vain, the Most High has begun to pull Babylon down. Let me show you a couple of seconds real quick before I transition over. All the work and tax money that came in from you working and not being able to pay your bills. Let me show you what the Demonuts was doing with your money. Before I transition over. Fair use for educational purposes only. Fair use.
Well, the U.S. Agency for International Development, USAID, which is a front, of course, for the CIA, has been effectively shut down now following an announcement by Elon Musk that President Donald Trump agreed to close the agency. And
fair use.
Just this morning, you can see all of the kerfluffle outside there. I love they're saying USAID saves lives. which is hilarious to me when you think about the regime change operations around the world and how many people have died. How about the
Oh no, they're just deciding whose lives they carry.
How about the million Ukrainians who've died at their hands as a result of the regime change there? So yeah, these protests are additionally more than 600 employees reported being locked out of the agency's computer systems today. The doors basically shuttered. You can see Democrats holding a press conference there. They have a larger budget than the CIA. They're responsible for regime change operations around the world, like in Ukraine in 2014. They were given $5 billion of their tax dollars to carry out a coup in Ukraine, of course, led by Victoria Nuland. President Trump was on the tarmac and he said, U.S. aid is run by lunatics.
And he's right. And he's correct. U.S. aid. Remember when we are the world? We are the world. We are the children. We are the ones who make a better day. So let's start giving. Man, you know what they were doing that money? Going over there in these other countries, folks. Pillaging countries. There's high molestation that went in when these freaks came from these different countries into these villages. Lying on us, talking about our people got AIDS and HIV and all this so that they can do more, so they can go into the countries and extract more resources without giving anything to the people. It was all a part of the game. But I digress. I'm going to talk about this on the other side, but fair use.
Well, it's been run by a bunch of radical lunatics, and we're getting them out. USAID, run by radical lunatics, and we're getting them out, and then we'll make a decision.
So Jamie Raskin, among other Democrats, were there at this little protest today to basically call Donald Trump a dictator and how we have to save USAID. Watch.
Elon Musk, you didn't create U.S. aid. The United States Congress did for the American people.
Right. Now look at these nut jobs, these demo nuts. Now let's see exactly what they were using the money for, right? What were they using the money for, folks? Look at this. I need y'all to see this. I don't have the full 12 minutes. I don't want to deal with those because I have to make sure I give my Patreonies their time. But anyway, let's do this real quick. $50 million. Now, we were taught that the money was going over to these countries. We were taught the money was going over to these countries to help poor people who were starving, the tribe of Judah. Listen to this.
And this is, again, incredible.
Hold up. Let me get it for you. Fair use.
Incredibly important to ensure that this administration is taking into consideration how hard the American people are working, and their tax dollars actually matter to this administration. You know, just during this pause, Doge and OMB have actually found that there was $37 million that was about to go out the door to the World Health Organization, which is an organization, as you all know, that President Trump, with the swipe of his pen in that executive order, is no longer wants the United States to be a part of. So that wouldn't be in line with the president's agenda. Doge and OMB also found that there was about to be 50 million taxpayer dollars that went out the door to fund condoms in Gaza.
$50 million worth of condoms. The demo nuts. Okay. They tried to shape this legislation, have all these initiatives that no one even know about, so that they can funnel money under these pretenses. What do you need $50 million in condoms for Gaza? Now you got Zelensky from the Ukraine, and we know that he's an actor. You got him now saying that all that money they claim was going to Ukraine, the Ukrainians never seen. But yet the debt went up, which means what? The debt falls on every citizen intentionally. And automatically they're going to flatline the economy when what? when America can no longer withstand the debt. This is how America has inflated every third world country's currency to where their money is worth nothing. And now they're doing this to the people here. So where do this go? Well, this is where it go. Real quick. This is where it's going to go. Right? Let me show you where it goes. And I'm going into this on Patreon. Which jobs will AI replace? These 4 industries will be heavily impacted. And I'm going to go over these. Any service jobs, any retail jobs, any clerical jobs, gone. All the service jobs that are left will be only given to East Indians and Asians, the replacements whose parents came in as doctors and nurses into our communities and began to poison us. All the infrastructure of the service jobs will go to them. Okay? Now, on top of that, I told people years ago that the last war would be Africa. Because U.S. aid, not all the money is going towards condoms and all that crap, but because they've been using the money this way, now Trump has plausible deniability, and now he can pull back all the funds, even the funds that were helping our people. Welfare for Africa will be cut off. And you know what? Rightfully so. Because the politicians were in place to keep our people on the bottom. While they live lavish lives and send their children to universities all over the world, our people suffered. So now he's going to cut back the money on these crooked politicians. And you know what? The citizens of those governments are going to go ape, and they're going to overthrow the governments. And it's going to be chaos and mayhem throughout all of Africa. Remember when I told you this? I told you this years ago. It's no time to be repatriating back to Africa. I'm going to tell you that right now. Because the Bible tells you that when the war comes in Africa, the people in Africa are going to die, 90% are going to die, and only 10% is going to be able to go on the Nile to escape into the wilderness area. Okay? Africa have no choice but to stand on their own and now use their resources as a means of bartering power to continue to receive the money they've been getting. They're going to start holding back their resources, which will be a declaration of war.
I saw some people the other day crying, oh, I don't know, Trump has removed money. He said it. It's not your government, it's not your country. No. Why are you crying? It's not your government, it's not your country. No. He has no reason to give you anything. I mean, you don't pay taxes in America.
He's saying, why are you crying? Look at this other African president. Look what he said.
He said, let's not mobilize Africa. Let's withhold minerals to U.S. That is it. If they don't give us money, let's not give them minerals.
He says, if we don't give them money, we're not going to give them minerals.
But the reality, they take our minerals, but say we're withdrawing funding. No, we have minerals in the continent, and therefore we have something that we have.
So it's not just the so-called immigrants in America panicking. These crooked politicians in Africa are now panicking because they know what it means without U.S. aid. Without U.S. aid, guess what? The only negotiating power Africa has is the resources they have been what? Living on top of. And if they try to hold back, now they're threatening to hold back these minerals. That will be a declaration of war, which will lead to sanctions. And guess what? The carnage will not be televised. Because a lot of you thought that Hotel Rwanda, y'all brought that movie Hotel Rwanda about what happened. Y'all thought that was a tribal war where some barbarians came in and had and destroyed some people in Rwanda. Folks, that was the cover story. Okay? That was a complete cover story. When you interview some of these people in Rwanda, they'll tell you that some of the people that came in were foreign troops. They looked black, but they were from someplace else. Folks, I'm going to tell you, that same game they played, bringing in other people, blaming it on tribes in Africa, or what they're going to do here in the United States, blaming it on gangs. Sanctions. Another thing I'm going to talk about. Okay. Now Trump is saying the silent things that we all knew out loud. The United States, we're going to take over Gaza. The United States is going to take over Gaza. Israel can step back, we're taking it. As if it were Israel is a speck. Whoever thought that Israel was a real superpower over there? Or was it more so a proxy for an American colony? Now, why is Trump announcing right now that he's taking over the Gaza Strip? He's taking over Gaza to rebuild it. So that if anything happens when it comes to Iran in that Middle East as a point of disrupting America's progress there, they're going to call now what Iran doing a declaration of war against the United States. So when he came out and said, well, I'm taking over the Gaza rebuilding, he's saying, I'm going to move my little brother Israel, my little Edomite Roman brothers Israel out of the way. And if now anything that comes with attacking that part of the region when it comes to Israel, it's a declaration of war against the United States, and that will pull America into the war. Remember, I said this going into the Sabbath, Purim week, February 7th, 2025. You heard it here first. We labor in vain. The labor was set up from the beginning as God's people under a curse so that the other nations can embolden themselves while the children of Israel would learn our lessons. Now that we've come and we've learned the lesson, some of us, the workforce have changed. And because of that, it's a need for something to happen for us who was the predominant workforce. If we don't come together with our resources, if we don't come together and understand what time we're in, it's no time to be thinking independent. It's no time to be talking about single. We cannot survive on a single salary. Our foreparents knew this who were poor. We have to get out of this idea of straight independence. I'm good by myself, because that's a curse in of itself, because only of Only someone out of their mind, only an insane person would believe they don't need others. The workforce is done. It's not going back the way it used to be. The replacements are here, and they only have one thing left to do. And some people might ask, well, under Ricard, what is that? Well, the only thing they have left to do is to starve our people out so that we would begin to riot and criminalize for the sake of survival. And once we're there, that will give the government it'll give them the moral high ground, because they're only going to report us responding to the oppression. And at that point, that will give them the moral high ground to do what they wanted to do the whole time. They're going to do what they couldn't do with the virus, with the vaccines. A standing army. We have some time, and the time we have is to get out of this independent mindset, come back under the laws of God, and understand how to plan accordingly. You cannot say you weren't told what to do when there was time. With that, I'll see you on the other side, my loyal Patreonies. Let's do it. Let's get it. Anything you want to talk about, we're going to talk about, but we're going to begin it on what? The labor force. Keep in mind, I told you earlier where we are according to the scriptures. Okay? The Demonuts, which is really the Roman Empire being used on the left side, they intentionally let all of the people in to stress America's economy so there will be nothing left once these people go back to their homes. They stress the housing with Section 8 and all that. They stress the food stamps. They stressed all of that intentionally so that now Trump can get on the other side and say, well, we need to just cut it off altogether because all these people are taking advantage of these benefits who aren't citizens. That was the plan. And then we were like, well, hold up. We're not illegals. They were like, well, it doesn't matter if you are illegals. We're cutting the program because illegals took advantage of it. That's where we are. And then all the people who caused these issues, these satanic idolaters from Asia, from that poor pigsty of East India. They came in with the full notion. These are the original scammers, folks, these East Indians. The book of Jasher break down how these people are straight scammers. They came over here knowing they were undermining us the whole time. These idolaters. And it says here, cut off from Babylon, and him that handleth the sickle in the time of harvest. For the fear of the oppressing sword, they shall turn everyone to his people, and they shall flee everyone to his own land. So they came in here to take everything away so that at the end of the day, the poor have nothing to survive with, so that they can now go back to their country and watch it all crumble. It was written in the word of God that everything that we see, and this is why I show you what's going on politically, because if you don't know what's going on politically, you don't understand what's going on prophetically. So there will be no jobs. And at that point, the pride of man will fail. Doesn't matter your degrees. It doesn't matter whether or not you went to school. There'll be no jobs for you to get. It doesn't matter. So what are you going to do? If you made the government your God and trusting in that God, you see how that God betrays you. The Most High is not going to ask you for your worldly credentials. But he will require your humble obedience. See you on the other side, Patreon. Patreon.com/AGathering144. We're in Purim week. Let's get it. Shalom. See you on the other side.
The East is where we're from. The 12 tribes of Israel. In 721 BC, the Assyrian king, he took us down, we fell. With the great escape, we went through the Euphrates. The Lord held the water still. To a land where no mankind dwelt, we went. The 12 tribes of Israel. So we be Manasseh, the Cubans, Ephraim from Puerto Rico, and Raleigh from the Isles of Hawaii. The Lord is calling back Israel. Zebulon from Panama, yeah, the North American Indians, Simeon, the Dominicans, the highest gathering in Israel. The Arabs and Africans told us